Hello everyone and welcome back to the screencast series of Asset Administration Shell. Since last few videos, we are working on the data provider's perspective. So in last few videos, we have seen a few steps how to get started with the Asset Administration Shell as a data provider. We have seen how to choose an asset, for example, a car, how to choose a use case and a corresponding submodel template for it, for example, a digital nameplate. We also modeled a shell for a car considering the digital nameplate use case for it. And finally, in the last video, we validated this shell against the ITTA specifications via the test engine. Now, in this video, we will be focusing on how to deploy this shell in an AAS server. This way, we can make our shell, the corresponding information, available to the outside world or accessible via APIs and so on. And for this step, we are going to use an open source implementation of Asset Administration Shell from a project called Eclipse ASX Package Explorer and Server. So you might have already noticed that we have already used the Package Explorer while modeling the shell. And this time we are going to use the server tool of this project. Now the GitHub link for the server will be provided in the description box below. But as we can see, there is a source code in ASP.NET Core or the C# implementation ASX of the ASX server. Then there is a README file which provides more information about different features and functionalities of this tool. And additionally, there are releases as well for different versions of the ASX server. In addition to that, if you're willing to use the Docker image of the server, then it is also available at the Docker Hub. You can simply search via admin shell IO, and different versions of the ASX server or the Docker images of the ASX server are available on these tags. But for this video, for this tutorial, we are going to use the release version or the binaries of the ASX server. For this reason, we are using the latest version of the release here. Now, as you can see, there are two different binaries available in addition to the source code. So one is the core or only the console version of the ASX server. And second is the Blazor version, which provides visualization in addition to the console. So for this tutorial, we are going to use the ASX Server Blazor version or the binary of the ASX Server. To save us some time, I have already downloaded this version. As we can see, it gets downloaded as a zip format. And when we extract it, we can see different resource files or the libraries involved into this ASX server. So let's get familiar, first of all, with the structure of this files here. So on the very top, we can see the folder called ASX. So this folder basically consists of the asset administration shell or ASX files that needs to be deployed before starting the server. So by default, one example file is already provided in the server, and we can add additional files for the deployment. So let's go back here. Now, let's have a look at some settings file. So let's start with the app settings file here. So as we can see, the important part here is that the port of the ASX server, it is defined here as 5001. If needed, we can change it as well. Now, how to start the server? So, to start the server here in the end, there is a shell script file called start for demo. Let's first open it and try to understand it. So as we can see, it runs the .NET and it uses the Blazor library for it. Right now, we are not enabling any security. That's why the parameter no security. And here we are basically providing the path for the ASX files that we need to deploy in the server. And finally, the host and port of the ASX server as well. So before starting the server, let's first put our asset administration shell of the car that we modeled in the last steps. So I'm just going to copy it and paste it in the ASX folder that we just saw. Now let's go back to the shell script file. So this is start for demo.sh and let's double click on it. So as we can see, the server has started on the port localhost 5001 and it has loaded two shells that we provided. We can have a look at the visualization here with the URL localhost and the port 5001. And as we can see, the two shells that we provided or deployed are already loaded in the server. Now, similar to the package explorer in the AASX server, there are here two panels. On the one side, there is a list of all the shells, which also provides a tree-like structure. And I can navigate to the deepest level here, and I can click on any of the element to get more information about um, this element. Now, this is one way to deploy the ASX file. How to access this information? So regarding this, uh, the ASX server is equipped with the Swagger support. So there are lots of APIs that have been supported by the ASX server. And those APIs, the documentation of those APIs, you can find it on the Swagger UI of the AASX server. This to access the Swagger UI, you can just append the swagger slash index.html in the end. And once we click on it, we can see different sort of APIs supported by the AASX server here. But for this tutorial, we are going to use one API specifically of the AASX server, and that is nothing but the AASX file server API. So this API deals with the exchange of ASX files. In the beginning, we saw one way to deploy the ASX file in the server, and that is to put it into the data path of the server. The another way is to deploy the file from the API side in the runtime instance. So for this, we are going to use this post method of the file server interface, and here this here is a query parameter, so we can skip it and let's focus on the file parameter. So here I can basically select the file. This time I want to upload a new file that is nothing but the test data file here. Let's open it, and when I say execute, we can see we have received a success response. And if I go back to the server, I can see that a new shell has been added to the AASX server. So in this video, we have seen two ways to deploy an asset administration shell in the AASX server. And as I mentioned before, um, by deploying the shell into the AAS server, we can basically access the shell as well. So for example, with this slash shells API, we can receive a list of all the shells available in the AASX server. Now, the whole demonstration or whole tutorial we saw was in the memory. It is also possible to start the ASX server with the database such as SQLite as well. For more information, you can have a look into the README file as well. Yes, so coming back to the tutorial, in this video, we have seen how to deploy a shell in the server. Now, in the next video, we will be focusing on how to register this shell to AAS registry so that it is discoverable by others as well. If you are interested in the registry part, stay tuned with the series. Thank you.